So I'm back from a little brief hiatus. Unfortunately I've been ill for the past couple of weeks, which is why nothing's really appeared on this channel. I haven't been able to do like talky videos because I haven't really been able to speak clearly, and yeah, just felt pretty awful, so unfortunately a lot of stuff hasn't got done, so apologies for that. But you know, Comic Con's coming up soon, so I'm going to endeavour to get back on track, and this is one video that I sort of wrote down a few notes for whilst I was ill and wanted to get out there specifically after doing a couple of troops this month. I just wanted to sit down here and talk about why, for me, and well, I'm hoping to be like a soundboard for other people, but obviously this is coming from my perspective, but how being a Stormtrooper and being in the cosplay community is probably one of the greatest things ever. A lot of people in the cosplay community are met with negativity from people who just don't get what we do. We're seen as childish, and it's like seen as a waste of time and money, just essentially adults playing expensive dress up. Seen as like negative kind of obsessives, and I'll be the first one to admit, for me personally, I am obsessed with Star Wars. There are worse things you can be obsessed with. But I remember on the first ever troop I did years ago, like back in 2009 I think it was, when the first Star Wars The Force Unleashed game was released. I did a couple of days promoting it for a local game store. I'd only recently got my armour and I really wanted to wear it out, but I didn't just want to go through the street, I wanted to do it specifically for an event. And with the game coming out, I thought, oh, it's a perfect opportunity, so I approached my local game store and said, hey, I've got this set of armour, how do you feel about me doing it? And they were really up for it, so I stood outside the store and, you know, interacted with people, took photos with kids, and I was like 13, 14 at the time. I think I was 13, and it was just huge fun. Obviously my armour being brand new and me being that bit shorter, it didn't quite fit properly, and there was things that I would need to fix over time, but it was so wonderful. But I do remember one lady just walking past me and calling me stupid. Like, you don't know me, you obviously have no idea what I'm doing here, you justified to just insult me on the street. No, I don't think so. There's some things that people have talked about more widely on the internet, like, you know, cosplay bullying and things like that, and there is a problem in the community, but the community as a whole is a wonderful place, and I just wanted to sit down and explain to people why we do what we do, for anybody who just doesn't quite get it. Because I still have people, like, even at work, they're like, oh, what do you do? And I sort of explain to them what I do as a hobby, and they just give me this really blank stare. And then I've kind of got to try and explain it in a way that they'd understand it, because it is a thing, like, you don't quite get it unless you're part of it. But I'm going to do my very best to try and sort of show why we do this. And before I get too into it, if my voice goes a little bit funny, I do apologise, I'm still slightly ill. So, sorry about that. But I've been a Star Wars fan for as long as I can remember. My fandom really started when the prequels came out. Back in 1999, I would have been like 7 years old. And a few years before that, the special edition release of the original trilogy came out as well. And up on the top of my shelf, which is not in shot, I have my VHS box set of the special edition trilogy that I watched repeatedly all the time, and I'd watch the prequels all the time on DVD, and then by the time the last one came out, I mean, I was hooked. I was absolutely hooked. So when you're a big fan of something, be it a film, a TV show, a game, even a sports event, you want to be a part of it. Now for something like a sports event, that's a lot easier, like maybe for music as well, that you can go and watch your favourite team compete or your favourite musician in a concert, and it's a, you know, it's an inclusive thing. As being a crowd, it's part of that. Obviously, when you're watching films and TV, the involvement you get from that is just by watching it either in the cinema or at home, but there's no real sort of involvement you feel you can get from it. And being a cosplayer, trying to bring the experience of that film into your personal life. That's kind of what it is. It's exactly the same as a sports fan wearing their team colours, painting their face, and going to these events and cheering for their favourite teams. We look at the characters we like, we scrutinise their costumes, and either buy, make, or modify these suits, and we wear them as to be like a part of this film and to play a role for a couple of days of a character we really like and maybe personally would like to be a little bit more like. With cosplay, you literally get to be whoever you want, and that is awesome. That's amazing. Because some days, I just want to be an evil megalomaniac. But with being a lifelong Star Wars fan, I obviously am more involved doing Star Wars in my cosplay, and my favourite character to be is the Stormtrooper. I've been a Stormtrooper since 2009, and over those years I own 3 different Stormtrooper armours. I have what I'm now calling my rookie set, which was my first ever armour suit that I trooped in for about 5 to 6 years before it became in a state of disrepair and needed to be upgraded. My Shepperton Design Studio armour, which is my current set of standard Stormtrooper armour that I wear to conventions, and I've obviously modified it to reflect what I want my Stormtrooper character to be, and a zombie Death Trooper, as they used to be known back in the novels, Stormtrooper character from the Death Troopers book, which was again that book was released in 2009, so at the beginning of my sort of Stormtrooper days, so a costume I wanted to do for a while, and I love being a Stormtrooper. For me, having a costume that hides your face is so much more fun than having one that doesn't, because I think if you talk to a lot of Stormtroopers, they'll tell you, when you're wearing your armour and you put it all on, you know, you got the chest piece, the arms and the legs, it does feel different, and the armour is kind of awkward to wear, but when you put the helmet on, it's like there is an instant change and you're not you anymore, you are that character. I think it has something to do with that helmet is so isolating. You can barely see, you can't hear very well, and you're just encapsulated in this big plastic bucket, and it's like your own little bubble. From the outside, when people look at you, because you're covered head to toe in this suit, you're not you anymore. People don't look at you and go, I know who that person is under there. They look at you and go, that's a Stormtrooper, that's from that Star Wars film. You feel like you're actually part of the film's universe, and being a fan, that's an amazing feeling. And, you know, Lucasfilm and Disney actively encourage this stuff for people to go out and have costumes and collect things. I think it's a lot easier nowadays to get adult-sized costumes for things, especially for like the new characters, which is always a good thing. In a way, I guess you can look at it like we're actors that just don't get paid for doing our role. We're the ones who spend the money, and we might not get put in films unless we do, you know, our own fan films, but I think that's probably the easiest way to describe it. Actors, their career is pretending to be other people for money. Us as a hobby, we pretend to be other people for fun. But as actors, we enjoy it. This is what we love to do, and it's also a really good way of channeling creativity for people who really like to make stuff. It's great fun. It's not really that much different either from collecting stuff like these spaceships, Lego action figures. It's just you collect pieces that you just happen to wear. There's a lot of people who go out and specifically buy certain branded clothing because they really like that brand and they'll wear that. And there's some people like myself, if I see a really good Star Wars shirt, I'll buy it because I like it and it's cool and I want to wear it. But instead of just a shirt, it's a full suit. So it's probably an outdated view of, you know, nerds sitting in the basement making all this stuff and spending time all over it, and then going out for like a day and then retreating back to the depths to hide away until the next event. But actually there is a massive community around cosplay, especially Star Wars stuff. Obviously, that's the thing I know most about because that's what I'm part of. There are so many costume groups for Star Wars around the world. Obviously, the biggest one a lot of people know is the 501st Legion, which has like I don't know how many members they've got now. They must have about 8,000 odd members around the world, probably a lot more than that. But they've been going for 10 years and they go to a lot of conventions and do stuff, and they're the ones that inspired me to do it in the first place. They're the ones who are officially recognised by Lucasfilm as like the official Star Wars costume group. But then you do have a lot of the little smaller ones around, like I'm part of the Outlanders. I founded them and I run the group, and we're just here to build a really great community, and I'm so pleased to say that I've made so many amazing friends in the Outlanders, and I'm so proud of what we've achieved as a group. And we'll be celebrating our 2-year anniversary at the end of this month on the 27th, and we're still growing, and we're nearly up to 700 members worldwide, and it's amazing just to be able to find people like yourself. And like there's a few people obviously in the UK squad that I only met for the first time this month, and yet it feels like I've known them all my life. It's just an instant, I know you, I know what you like, and it's amazing. And as well as making friends with other like-minded people, through this hobby you can meet the people that you are inspired by. You get to go to events and you get to meet people like Darth Vader, the Emperor, C-3PO, all these actors that have been in the films that you've grown up watching. You can meet Luke Skywalker. You can, well, not Han Solo, he doesn't like doing conventions, but you can meet all these people and talk to them. And there's a lot of people who are fans of actors that, you know, they'd kill for that, and for us it's almost kind of a normality. I don't even think normality is a word. If it's not, I've invented it and I like it. It sounds like it'd be a thing. I think so. And as I've said before, it's kind of a brilliant way for people to channel their creativity. I mean, I love making stuff. I've always liked making stuff. Little things like when I first started collecting a few of the action figures, the first big piece I ever got is my AT-AT. This guy here is an Endor one. He's covered in mud. He's not a off one. He's an Endor one that would normally guard the big. It's not the shield bunker. That's the back door. The bigger bit, the bigger base, the one where Darth Vader lands. Don't really know the official name for it. It's the one that guards there, but you know that's like I had that, and I had a scout trooper, and like a couple of stormtroopers and a Vader, and that's what I had. So I made an Endor diorama. I built the shield bunker out of cardboard, and I made all these little bushes, and I put a little paper down and painted it green so it was with grass. So I had my AT-AT, and I'd set up all my figures, and for me that was like as close as it got with making these tiny little models just out of cardboard and paper, and it was great. And then when I slowly learned about costuming, obviously I didn't have the skills to make armour, so I bought it. I'm probably still not at the level where I can mould and vacuum form, but maybe one day. So for armour I buy and I modify. I buy it in kit or buy it completed and modify it. But for a lot of stuff now I'm trying to learn to do it by hand. And for those who follow me know that I'm working on a 7-foot tall K2SO. For those who haven't seen Rogue One, that's this guy. He's an Imperial droid that's been reprogrammed by the rebels, and he is probably the best character in Rogue One aside from Director Krennic, because obviously I'm an Imperial, so I'm biased. It's just, I'm the kind of person I can't be sitting around not doing a lot. Maybe back in my early teens I could get away with that, but now I can't. I want to be making something. I've hated being ill for the past 2 weeks because I felt so rubbish. The days I haven't been at work, I've just been sitting at home sleeping, because that's all I've been really able to do. So I'm behind on my projects, and it's really annoying because I just want to work. There's a lot of hugely talented people that can literally look at something from a film and make it exactly like it's just come off the film set. And again, that's a talent people get paid for. It doesn't magically appear in the movies. There is someone behind the scenes that work on this stuff, that make this stuff physically. It exists. And there's people in the cosplay community that, you know, they do run their own shops and they get paid to do props and things like that. But there's some people who are just trying to build up their skills, and this is a great way of doing it, and then they get to go out and show people what they've done and get feedback from it, and it's fantastic. And for me, it's been wonderful being able to show what I do on YouTube, because I'm still learning. My stuff isn't at the level which I can go to a film studio and be like, hey you guys, hire me. But it's at a level I can put it online and people can look at it and they can take what I've done and they can improve it and work on their own stuff, and it's wonderful. I love being able to do this, and I hope I get to do this more as a full-time job in the future. And I think moving on to probably the most important reason why we do this, and why I wanted to talk about this, is the charity work as well. I've been a part of events that have raised money for charity in the past, but now with the Outlanders we are starting to do some more charity things and support more people, which is really, really nice. And obviously the bigger groups like the 501st do charity work so often in their suits, and I think it is something that most people kind of look over because they don't really think about that. A lot of people can make fun of us for being adults playing dress up, and then, you know, earlier this month I got to do my first ever hospital visit to go see some kids. And while a lot of us do this for fun and do this personally for us, it is really a wonderful experience to actually use our passion and our hobbies and actually give back to someone else. So obviously the event that's kind of made me want to talk about this is, as I've said, on May the 4th this year, about 20 members of the UK squad for the Imperial Outlanders went to University College Hospital in London to visit some of the kids that were in the cancer ward. The groups of us got to go around to different wards and see some of the kids and some of the young adults. And you know, it is quite an emotional thing to do, because you kind of realise how lucky you are as a person to be able to do this. And there's these kids that wake up in the same hospital rooms day after day after day, can't really go out a lot and live a life that they might want to live. They have to face lots of really difficult treatments and lots of, you know, life-threatening things, and the worry that you don't know what day your last day is going to be. And it is the greatest feeling that I've felt from being a Stormtrooper, to go into the rooms and see these kids that they just, you know, they're kind of sitting there, and then they catch a glimpse of you and their face just lights up. It is just so wonderful. I think sort of my favourite bit, well, I think I've got two favourite parts from that day. The first one is early on in the day. We were all sort of in the atrium of the hospital whilst a couple of groups, you know, people arriving, getting changed, and we'd all grouped them. We stayed there for a little bit, having little pots that people could put money into, and they were taking pictures with us before we moved out and visited the wards. And there was this little boy that came into the atrium in a wheelchair, and you know, he kind of just looked a bit down, just sort of scooting along, and he looked up, and I think the first thing he saw was Darth Vader. And I have never seen a smile so big on such a little person. To just look up, and he just was so happy. He wanted a picture with everybody, so we went over and like shook his hand and said hello. And actually later in the day when visiting some of the wards, his teacher, because they have schools in the hospital for kids who obviously can't leave, and yeah, the teacher came with him, let him out of the class so he could come see us before the end of the day, and he got his picture again, and it was just such a nice sight, and he was just so happy throughout the rest of the day. He just did not stop smiling. And well, when we visited the wards, there was a little boy as well who was just, again, everyone loves Darth Vader, really taken with Darth Vader to the point that he just wanted to walk around the ward just holding Vader's hand. And so Vader walked around with him for a little bit, and it's just so nice to be able to give these kids a break. As for even just a little bit, just they can forget what they're going through and just be like, this is a character from something they recognise. For a moment, they can believe that Star Wars is real. That's definitely, I think, the best part of being a Stormtrooper. We keep magic alive for a little bit longer, because if we didn't have that, life would just be dull. If I didn't have this, life would just be getting up, going to work, doing the same thing every day, coming home, watching TV, going to bed. But it's not, it's something different. There is so many opportunities to do so many amazing things, and to make people smile, and to just give them that little bit of magic back. And I think that's incredibly important. So for those who don't understand, maybe you still don't, maybe I didn't explain it too coherently, I did try, but that's why we do it. It might be something that I've only been able to do recently in the years that I've been able to be a Stormtrooper, but I like to make as many people as I can smile, because I think that's, if everybody did that, the world would be just that little bit better. So to all those who go out there and dress up and have fun, you keep on being you, and you enjoy it, and don't let other people try and knock you down for it, because you're doing something awesome. So thank you guys very much for watching. As always, may the Force be with you.